All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the State of the Village for 2026. We'll be going over some of our accomplishments for last year and what we're planning to do for 2026. Elected official-wise this year, we did have a change on council. We welcome back Mr. Vern Horton. Frank Saracey retired. We wish him well in his retirement. Everybody else stayed the same. We still have Christina, Tony, Jeff, and Elizabeth, and Jerry Hines. Our administration team, Lucas Darling is our administrator. Our fiscal officer is Christine Page. Solicitor is still James Lyon. Engineer Alan Freiger from Verantis. Chief Coran still with us, as is Chief Lloyd. Mike Rowan is still your service department director. Chris Yano still runs the senior center, and water distribution operator of record is Patrick Bush. Where the village stands employee-wise, we got 46 total employees. 20 of those are full-time, 26 part-time. Our budget last year was $5,654,872. We earned $171,508 of interest on that revenue. Our investments are made with Star Ohio, an investment pool administrated by the state treasurer. Total expenses for last year was $5,263,015, and we ended up with a balance of $4,152,989. The topic of the day seems to be, where does our property tax dollars go? Well, we've got a nice pie chart here. I think we did this last year. I think it bears repeating every year. I would encourage anyone at home. I'm sure we'll have the PowerPoint up somewhere. Folks, if you can't, folks here in the audience, if you'd like a copy, we can get you one. Of your dollars, so 64% goes to our school system. The village gets 21% of that. Lake County takes 10%. Auburn Career Center gets 1%. Lakeland Community College is 2%. The Fairport Harbor Public Library is at 2%. But really what I want to focus on is what we do and where your money goes at the village slice of the pie. So of that 21%, 7 cents goes to your police department, 6 cents goes to your fire department, a cent of that goes into your streets, and 7 cents goes into the general, which is basically your administration. We also receive funds from income tax revenue. The other thing that we don't have broke out here is the water department or the water fund funds some of the positions in the village as well. But as you can see, and again, Chris would be happy to break down the numbers for any homeowner that may have the questions about where your tax dollars go, but you can see plainly where they go here. I think we do a fantastic job with what we're allotted. And it's an honor every year to speak about that. And I'll start here with our police department. We're a community first police force. Again, Chief Coran is your chief. We have a Sergeant, Kylie O'Brien. Jennifer Calhoun Urban is our administrative assistant. I think she's the boss of the chief. Our payroll division, our patrol division, the full-timers. We've got Officer Varsi, Officer Manishi, Officer Schuster, Officer Sheehan, which is our new SRO, and Officer Smith as a patrol officer. Part-timers, Sheba, Holbert, and Manis, and then the auxiliary unit. And we've got a pretty good bench there. So Harvey, Kimbrall, Mason, Mitri, Ocasio, Mendenhall, Longstretch, Paccio, Padilla, Doing, Shoulders, Vincent, and O'Lear. Again, the chief does a real good job of using those auxiliary officers for our public events and a lot of the extracurricular things that go on here in the village. Calls for service last year, we were dispatched 2,667 times. This does not include officer-initiated calls or walk-in complaints. We are fully certified by the Ohio Collaborative of Community Police Advisory Board. All officers are certified by the Ohio Peace Officers Training Commission. We're fully accredited by the Ohio Collaborative of Community Police Advisory Board. What is the Ohio Collaborative? A statewide initiative that sets professional standards for law enforcement agencies to strengthen community trust and accountability. And why it matters: it promotes transparency and ethical policing, ensures compliance with best practices in areas like use of force, community engagement, and bias-free policing, demonstrates our commitment to public safety and community partnership. Fairport Harbor Police Department achievement successfully met all statewide standards, continues to uphold integrity, fairness, and service excellence. This accreditation reflects our dedication to building trust and keeping Fairport Harbor safe. Community engagement in 2025. The police department conducts numerous safety, security details, and community programs. Those consist of community days, school basketball and football games, concerts and community programs, senior welfare checks, harbor holiday events, trick or treat in the costume contest, many school visits, shop with an officer, and the monthly coffee with cops. Talk about our SRO. We're in our third year. Like I said earlier, James Sheehan became our SRO last year, and he completed an SRO certification through the Ohio School Resource Officer Association. We maintain constant presence, again, at the athletic events, ensuring students, families, and visitors enjoy a safe and welcoming environment. Fire department is next. Our staff is Chief Lloyd, Fire Inspector Terriaco, Fire Inspector Trucon, Training Officer Huffman. We have 3 shifts, A, B, and C. A shift is Captain Bramer, Firefighter Langer. B shift is Lieutenant Garisick and Firefighter Mullen. C shift, Lieutenant Blados and Firefighter Hanks. Firefighters for the Village of Fairport Harbor is Firefighter Moultrie, Firefighter Hearn, Firefighter Bruguera, Firefighter Brothers, Firefighter Gonzalez, Firefighter Denton, Firefighter Heller, Firefighter Hamilton, Firefighter Unger, and Firefighter Fisk. The fire department probably remains committed to providing residents with transport to their preferred hospital when medically appropriate. No resident should ever fear that they will be taken out of network hospital while in our care. Of that, EMS runs were 743, hospital transports were 496, 316 transports went to Tri-Point, 128 went to the Mentor Hospital of the Cleveland Clinic, 34 went out to Lake West, 15 to Hillcrest. We took 2 out to Geauga and 1 to the main campus of the Cleveland Clinic. Burn victims would be taken to Metro Health campus for specialized care. Fire responses, including mutual aid last year, 43. Wires, gas leaks, COs, etc. Were 506 for a total of 549 fire responses. 0 civilian injuries, 0 firefighter injuries, and 0 fire deaths. The highlights from last year for the fire department: numerous walkthroughs at the new school complex, training house provided by Fairport Harbor Schools. 1 member attended a fire department instructors conference. 1 member attended fire tactics class in Florida. 2 members completed Blue Card incident command training. 1 member was an instructor of the Blue Card. Pediatric advanced life support class. Monthly hands-on EMS training from Cleveland Clinic, Mentor. We continue to host Crossroads peer support training for Lake County. Man versus machine hands-on training taught by Lieutenant Blados. 1 member attended the Coast Guard search and rescue training in Cleveland. 1 member completed fire coordinator training at EOC. There was live fire training at Auburn Career Center, 2 days, 13 members attended. 1 member completed fire officer 1. 2 members started fire officer 1 training, and 9 members attended the Ohio Fire Marshal's fire trailer with the Mentor Fire Department. We made the following upgrades to our equipment last year. 40 sets of fire gloves and protective hoods in conjunction with Ohio Bureau of Workmen's Comp. Power stair chair with a grant from BWC and Ohio EMS. Tool and boat fill adapters via grant from Lyondell. 1 nozzle and 1 length of hose. A sandpipe kit consisting of a hose nozzle bag and small tools. Thermal imager for the backup fire engine. Winch for water rescue trailer. Small tools for fire investigation with harbor freight grant. 1 pediatric vacuum mattress. 2 pediatric restraint seats for stretchers. Replacement radio batteries. New weather station. Tires for engine 1813. Power hose roller with the BWC grant. And 2 sets of turnout gear. Again, I'll take you back earlier in the slides to the slice of pie, 21% of your tax dollars. And as we break that out, 6 cents of every dollar that you pay in property taxes, fire department, 7% or 7 cents goes to the police department. It is simply outstanding, the level of service that we get here from these dedicated professionals. I can't thank the chiefs enough. I say it year after year. I can't thank council enough for their continued support of both of those departments. Without them, we don't exist as a village, to be very honest with you. And Christine and I were at the Employee of the Year dinner and Firefighter and Officer of the Year dinner Sunday, and what a marvelous time that we had honoring those employees and getting to spend some time with their families. So if you see them, thank them, and I know the village does support them. A lot of what I talked about is paid for again by the new levies that were passed last year. I think we'll talk a little bit about that going forward. But chiefs, thank you and thank your men. We hired 3 additional full-time personnel with the levy I just spoke about. New records management system, ESO software. Taking on additional responsibilities related to Lake Erie Water because of the shutdown of the, well, not the closing of the Fairport station, but the limited staffing that's happening there with our Coast Guard. Our busiest days were 9 runs, happened 5 times. We had 1 of 10, 1 of 11, 1 of 12, and 1 of 14 runs. And again, going back to the staffing levels, that's a lot of work for a very small department, and we do it. Completed new automatic aid agreement with Menor Fire for water rescues in Fairport Harbor, Painesville Township, and Menor areas of Lake Area. Seems small, but you guys remember back in the late fall, the crowd control at the high water during the Queen of Hearts. Both police and fire were very much engaged there. Thank you again for your support of that, and the citizens of Fairport and the citizens of Lake County, really, and the high water. What an awesome way to host the village and show off our village. You know, that was a point of pride to be able to do that. I hope the jackpot hits a little sooner this time, but we'll see how it goes. Safely managed concerts, the Mardi Gras, Polar Plunge, football games and various races, manned Concord Fire Department during our funeral for their retired chief. So mutual aid. It's a vital partnership between fire departments, ensuring that communities receive immediate emergency response during large-scale incidents, multiple calls, or staff shortages. It enhances safety, efficiency, and collaboration, allowing departments to share personnel, equipment, and expertise when needed most. We were definitely benefits of that many times here in Fairport. You can see, I don't know if you in the audience can see the slide, but in the slide, you can see who we provide aid to. We provide aid to Eastlake, Grand River, Painesville City, Painesville Township, Leroy Township, Concord Township, Perry Joint Fire District, Madison, Menor on the Lake, and Wickliffe. And we received aid from Concord, Grand River, Painesville City, Painesville Township, and Perry Joint Fire. So we're giving as good as we get, folks. We definitely give back to Lake County when needed. Talk about some accomplishments now from the administration, Lucas's side of things. I do, and I would be remiss if and I'll forget at the end, so I want to take a moment now to thank Lucas. So the presentation that I'm giving, I had 3 edits to it. The rest of it was put together by Lucas. He's done a wonderful job with this. So Lucas, thank you for your efforts. East Street Water Tower brought online last year. Milestone in water infrastructure improvement. As part of our water improvement plan, the village brought the new East Street Water Tower online in March of '25. once-in-a-generation investment in our public infrastructure. The key benefits of it: it increases water pressure, improving service for homes and businesses in the village center, and it enhances reliability, strengthening our water system for the future. And make no mistake, it's our system. We did not have to sell our system to somebody. We were able to maintain our system, and we'll keep our rates within reason going forward to maintain that system. Orchard Street, Water Street Tower demolition. We tore that down in the spring of '25. Key details there: before we tore it down, we used it as fire department training for rappelling. After demolition, the contractor installed a new park entrance to Orchard Street. Morton Salt, the Fairport mine, donated and installed 2 new ADA accessible picnic tables for visitors to use. We thank them for that. The future of the park, with the closing of McKinley, Orchard Street now is the only playground on the south side of the village. The village is planning park equipment and stormwater improvements to ensure the space continues to meet community needs. Last year, we finished up the 5th Street Storm and Sanitary Project, completed that in the summer. On the 400 and 500 blocks of 5th Street, the highlights is stormwater system upgrades. We replaced stormwater lines and repaired catch basins, removed lead water service lines, sanitary sewer rehabilitation. We chip lined existing sanitary sewer lines for long-term durability, full repaving of the project area following the underground work. Partnerships that maximize that impact: Lake County Department of Utilities, the Sanitary Department, and Stormwater Management. Again, this really ties into what we did in '24 on Chestnut Street. This is a good partnership and a good way to get the roads paved from curve to curve here in town. We wouldn't be able to afford a lot of that without these partnerships, so we continue to do it. I think we'll be talking about what we're going to be trying to do on New Fourth a little bit later in the slides. But that's a highlight for us here. We can't afford this type of improvement on our own, so we have to find ways to work with other entities. Last year, we became the second DORA in Lake County. That's a designated outdoor refreshment area. It's a designated area where visitors can purchase alcoholic beverages from participating businesses and enjoy them outdoors. That supports the downtown revitalization and enhances community experiences. The benefits of it: increases foot traffic for shops, restaurants, and events, encourages visitors to explore more of the downtown while supporting the small businesses. It enhances the festivals and concerts that we're seeing more of, creates a more social and welcoming environment for residents and tourists, and reinforces Fairport Harbor as a destination for leisure, tourism, and lakefront activity. Communication that we try to do outside of this state of the village or our council meetings is the Fairport Beacon. It's our official newsletter. We deliver it twice a year, winter and summer, to every residential property here in the village. Copies are always available at Village Hall. Purpose is to combine educational articles about village life with official notices that are already required to mail to every home. We feature a business spotlight, highlights on local nonprofits and community resources. It's efficient and cost effective. Consolidating communications reduces printing and mailing costs, ensures residents receive important information in a single, easy to read publication. And it matters. It strengthens the communication between us, the government, and you, the residents, by ensuring everyone receives accurate, timely information, builds community connection through stories about local businesses, nonprofits, and those initiatives. You can read past editions at fairportharbor.org/beacon. So plans for 2026. Comprehensive plan update. We talked about that last year, that we were going to fund it or find a grant for it. We found a grant, a $60,000 grant from Ohio Department of Development, with our $5,000 local match to put this on. It's done by a professional consultant, Verantis, our engineering firm. It's community driven. The steering committee is made up of residents, business owners, school representatives, and elected officials. Not many elected officials. We made sure we kept that small. We wanted to hear more from residents and business owners to see what they wanted their town to look like. Focus on balancing the downtown development and tourism, community service, the survey that we sent out, we received over 300 responses. That's 10% of the population participated. That's a pretty big number. So people are engaged. They want to know what's going on with their village, and I think they want to say in it, and we're glad to hear it. So it'll give us a roadmap that preserves Fairport Harbor's character while embracing our future opportunities. Building civic pride. We've collaborated with the Fairport Harbor Opportunity Development Corporation. That leads Fairport Harbor's America in Bloom. It's a program advising residents to help select an official village flower this year, creating a unifying symbol that reflects our community's identity. The survey is open through the 28th. Build a stronger community through identity. Support America in Bloom is aligned with our beautification efforts, and it boosts local pride and visitor appeal. One of the coolest things that happened from this event last year was the poem we got from one of the directors of America in Bloom, and we actually are going to include it in our comprehensive plan. He was so taken aback with his experience in the few days that he was here that he penned a pretty nice poem about that, and I thought that was telling. So, you know, this along with many of the other nonprofits, and there's a lot here in town, this isn't to shine more light on this one than the others that do great work for us, but what it really is meant to do is to show how important those organizations are, how important that groundswell or the community being engaged in what the village does and in how their village looks. So many members there, too many for me to try to remember, and I don't want to name somebody and not somebody else, so please excuse me there, but know that your efforts are noticed and appreciated here. I talked about the new 4th Sanitary Street Storm and Water, similar to the 5th Street project that I just talked about. We're looking to upgrade a 6-inch water main to an 8-inch, increasing pressure and capacity, and that'll depend on final costs. We're still working through some of that. Some things may get shaved out of it, depending on how we can fund it. So we'll be having some conversations about that in the first part of the year. It'll involve installing new stormwater pipes, catch basin, stormwater manholes, pavement replacement, along with the chip lining of the sanitary sewer lines, and reinstating the sanitary connections. The chip lining is very important. So what that does is that puts a thin layer of material into pipes that sometimes are cracked, sometimes they're a little separated. And what that does is that stops the water infiltration that comes into your sanitary system. As most people know, especially in that area of town, basement flooding is a concern. A lot of that happens through the infiltration of water, and that's one way for us to try to handle that. And that's where we partner again with the county engineers to do that. We're going to continue to invest in our water system. Reliable, well-maintained water system is essential to health, safety, and long-term stability of our village. Making strategic investment in these projects is a top priority. The water regionalization project was completed. St. Clair Street Interconnect Phase 1 has been completed. The St. Clair Interconnect Phase 2 is in design. We completed a water loss audit, and our water rate study is in progress. We're working with Ohio Rural Water Association to complete a rate study with new rates expected in 2027. New rates will reflect the cost of maintaining the water system and cost of purchasing water from Painesville City. These rates will ensure that we can continue to operate and steward a safe and efficient water distribution system. So, you know, the reason why we went outside is it's always good to have a third party look at what we're doing and what we're charging and what we're trying to put in. I don't want to call it a savings account because that's not the right word, but if the rates are correct, we'll be able to do the capital improvement projects that we're going to need to do. You know, make no mistake about it, folks. You know, it's a 100-year-old system, and it needs a little bit of work from time to time. Water conditions assessment study, that's in 2026 too. The CAS will look at our current water system and provide us with a new asset management plan and the next 20 years of projects and improvements. It's our roadmap to a sustainable, stable water system. AMI water metering project, that's a future project. It's automatic reading meters. as part of our vision for a 21st century water system. I'll talk more about that after this next slide, I believe. So the St. Clair Street Secondary Interconnect Phase 2, this will take us across the bridge and tie us into Painesville City. So when we close down the water plant, it's a requirement that the village has 2 sources of fresh water to come into the village. For the last 100 years or so, we only had it coming out of the lake, but now we have to have it coming over both bridges. Pretty costly. We've been trying to put the project together for a couple of years. Ohio EPA and everybody has been great to work with. So again, it's a secondary water connection between us and the city. It'll go across the bridge, and then it'll give us a second source in case something happens to the first coming over on Richmond Street. So that's that. So we're getting back to the metering. So it's a smart water metering system that provides real-time usage and two-way communication. Accurate billing, monthly billing instead of the budgetary sometimes that we do with the quarterlies, and leak alerts. It'll identify issues quickly and reduce damage and high bills. We've all had, I don't want to say we've all had, but we've had them come up to Village Hall where something in a basement will run, a toilet or something like that will run for a month or two and no one will know it. And once that water is through that meter, by law that has to be paid for. So we would be able to detect those things a little bit sooner. So faster detection, improved operational efficiency, and data-driven for planning for the infrastructure. Progress continues on the transient marina. I get this question more than most. Again, it's a big project. There's a lot of moving pieces to this, but it's still very much something that is on our radar, that's on the county's radar, that's on the state's radar, that's on the Fed radar. Fairport Harbor is important, and you'll see in the last slide here just how important Fairport Harbor is to the larger communities. So we continue to work with the Lake Development Authority and our Port Authority towards completing the transient project. Current funding breakdown is $5 million from ODNR. We got $1.1 million from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife for boating infrastructure, $63,000 from the Clean Vessel Act grant. That's an ODNR grant, and $350,000 is put aside in the state capital funds. We'll be applying for Streetscape Phase 3 up on High Street. So this will finish what we started coming up High Street to 3rd and then going down 3rd Street. We'll complete going from 3rd to 2nd. So we're going to be going for that through the county this year, and we'll upgrade street lighting, improve sidewalks, and it'll all look the same when it's down. So I talked about the funding. So federal funding. By working with our federal officials, our area will see almost $38.5 million. Now I'm not going to take credit for the $37 million. The $37.5 is really county leadership, the Lake County Port Authority that I talked about, and our federally elected officials. But that's for the dredging of the harbor. It'll take it all the way down to the turn basin. So I don't know if there's any homeowners here in the audience from the condos or the houses here on High Street, but this is a precarious time of the year. We are thawing and we're probably going to have a flood again, right? So one of the things that we always get asked about is, can the breaker come, get into the river? Well, it can only get up to Morton Salt because the dredging needs to be done. It hasn't been done in many years, and it was always a fight, or not a fight, it was always a struggle to find the funding source. Well, the federal government decided that it was worth preserving and worth funding, and like I said, $37.5 million will be spent on that dredging this year alone. So what goes on down on Water Street matters a great deal to us. But the other part of that, the interconnect on St. Clair that I talked about, that's a $929,000 grant that we got to make that interconnect. That saves you, the residents, and you business owners here in Fairport Harbor, an increase in your water rates to try to afford that. So we're very grateful for that. So we want to thank Representative Dave Joyce, Senator John Husted, and Senator Bernie Moreno for their support in that. Again, Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to our residents for your continued support of your safety forces and your service department and your administration. Council, thank you for your support. And we'll have our council meeting in a few minutes. Thank you.